Name is Jen Stevens. I met Kim actually just randomly through a diamond group and just, had become friends and chatted that way. So that's how we met. And I have been coaching for a little over a year. Actually, May will be 2 years that I've been a coach. I am a one-star diamond coach, and I am the founder of my team, Team Royal Dream. And they are some amazing girls, and a good bit of them are on here tonight with us. So Kim asked me some things that I could talk about with you guys, and some of my things that I feel that I can talk best about, because I feel that I do well with them, are just staying motivated in this business, because we all know that there are times that it can get tough. Staying motivated, and my best practices just I want to share with you guys for selling challenge packs and reaching Success Club, because for me, 19 months going strong at Success Club, it is an absolute non-negotiable for me. So really, I just want to kind of start from the beginning and give you a little bit of background about me. I started using Beachbody because I was listening to some lady at the gym. I was listening to her conversation, and she was talking about this T25 that she had and blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, that sounds like so much fun. And so I started talking to her, and she said, this is terrible, and don't ever do this or advise this to anybody, because I'm not advising it. But this lady let me have a burned copy of it, T25 that she had. And I used it, and I brought it home to my husband, and I was like, we're going to do this. And he was like, I am not doing that with you. I'm not doing that. No. Showed him the infomercial. He was like, no way, I'm not doing it. So after about a week of pressuring him, he finally, to shut me up, said, fine, I'll do it. Just to prove these people wrong, I'll do it with you. So fast forward, the 10 weeks or whatever T25 is, I lost about 5 to 6 pounds, and my husband lost 25 pounds. And at that point in time, we weren't even drinking Shakeology. So initially, I was talking about it on Facebook. My coach was like, you should really be being a coach. Like, you're basically doing what we do. And I was just like, no, I'm good. So eventually, once I seen my results, I messaged her like the next day and was like, I think I'd really like to see about this coaching thing, because I would be interested in Shakeology. So, she signed me up. I bought Brazil Butt Lift, which I have yet to use. But I just bought Shakeology. And at the time, I didn't know anything else. And so Brazil Butt Lift is what I bought. I didn't know the 21-day fix. I looked at it and was like, there's no way I'll never be able to follow that. So that's what I ended up with. And I just really, you guys, dove into coaching head first from day one. So first and foremost, when it comes to staying motivated, I just want you guys to know, because this is my motto, and I live by this with coaching, without coaching, just in life in general. I am somebody who lives unapologetically. I do not really care what anybody else thinks of me. It took me a long time to get to that point, but I'm to that point now, and I've always kind of been that way. I've always been outspoken, but when you become a Beachbody coach, people look at you differently, and you feel like they're judging you, and they're prejudging you. And I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that do that. But I want you guys to know, before we start into any of this, that it is a million times okay to be you unapologetically every single day, and to live that way every single day in Beachbody coaching, in your normal life, everything. You were created to be the person that you're meant to be. So, you have your quirks, your craziness, whatever it is, your unique things about you that are you. So don't be afraid to share that with people. And in this business, you, no matter what, just have to be yourself, because that is what's going to make you stand out in the crowd of 400,000 Beachbody coaches. Just being yourself, because that's what your power of being you is. That's your power, and nobody else can be you. So don't ever be afraid to be yourself. Don't be, let people's opinions of Beachbody coaches and, sharing things on Facebook, don't let that get in the way of, living the bigger dream that you have. So how do I stay motivated? It took me, wow to think about this, because some of that stuff, when you do these things every single day, you go in and out of this and you're like, how do I really, go about my daily routine, and how do I keep myself motivated? And as I thought about it, honestly, there's two things: personal development and accountability. And for me, I'm sure you guys hear personal development. I'm sure Kim talks to you guys about that all the time. I'm pretty sure my coaches get sick of hearing me talk about personal development. But these two things, honestly, you guys, are staples in my everyday life, with my business, my life, everything. Because I can admit, if you're a newer coach on this call and Kim has talked to you about personal development, Nikki talked to me about personal development for 3 months, and I lied to her for 3 months and told her I was doing it, and I wasn't. And when I went to her one day and she said, I know you're not doing personal development. I know you're not. I can just tell. And she was right. And from that day forward, when I was ready to quit Beachbody last January, Nikki said, get the book, You Can, You Will, sit down and read it, and we'll talk when you're done. And I did, and it honestly changed everything for me. I was one of those people who was like, I don't need personal help. Like, that's like, who reads those kind of books? Like, I don't need self-help books. I'm not crazy. But honestly, everybody can use a personal development book in their life. So when I feel like giving up some days, because believe me, there are days that I feel like giving up. I'm sure there's days when Melanie Mitro feels like giving up. It happens. This business can be tough. I honestly just look at my goals and I sit down and I read some personal development. And I think of the big picture and why I started doing this in the first place. And when I think of all those things and just look at it and I'm like, this minor little thing that is making me feel like I just want to quit this whole thing today is not worth all of these other things in the big picture. And those are the things, honestly, that keep me going when I have a bad day. And some of my tips that I want to give to you guys in regards to, personal development and accountability are, for personal development, some things for me that I really stick to. I do it normally, and this is obviously different for everybody. When I did work full time, I did it every day on my way to work. I had a 45-minute drive to work every day, to and from. So I made sacrifices for personal development, because once I read that book and I seen how much it helped me, I was like, I need to be doing this every day. Nikki's not crazy. This is going to make me a better person, a better coach, everything. So I downloaded podcasts and I got on the computer. Somebody at the time was like, oh, Audible was having this discount. I logged into audible.com and I got an Audible account. And you can download an app on your phone once you have an account through them. And I believe it's either $9.99 a month or $14.99 a month. I pay for that service. And with that service, you get 1 credit per month. Instead of buying a book, you have it on audio. And I made a sacrifice and I don't listen to the radio anymore. Anytime I sit down in my car, I'm listening to Audible or I'm listening to podcasts. Or, when I am sitting at home, I'm reading a book, or I go on YouTube. When I feel like I need something for the business aspect and I want to learn something and I just need that like motivation for this business, I go on YouTube and I find, things that I'm looking for. And I type a word in, because believe me, top coaches and just coaches in general put so much training on YouTube, you wouldn't even believe. So those are the things that I use. And my favorite books that I have read, this far, audio is kind of my thing. But now that I'm home full time, I really have gotten back into the habit of reading, because I do love to read, but I never had time for that before. And I'm sure you guys work full time and you don't have time for that. So if you are doing audio personal development, do it in your car. That is the best time, because I know everybody is so busy. Believe me, I tried to put it on one time in my car with my husband, and he was like, what is this? We are not listening to this. Like, what is this? So I listen to it on my private time when I'm on my way to work, and I can concentrate and listen and just soak it all in. So now if you are home or I give myself 10 to 15 minutes to sit and read personal development in the mornings and in the evenings, before I go to bed and when I wake up, before I log into Facebook, because it gives me that positive attitude, because I know for me, and I'm sure for some of you guys, when you log into Facebook sometimes, it's instant negativity and people are just like, it's an instant day ruiner some days if you hop on there first thing in the morning. So I literally will read personal development before I log into anything, before I check my emails, before I go into my back office, anything, because that is what's going to start my day and, make it a good day for me. And some of my books that I have, like I said, that I have read and that I love, I said, and I'll speak for the rest of my life about You Can, You Will by Joel Osteen. That book changed everything for me. It made me realize that I didn't have to worry about what other people thought, and I didn't have to compare myself to anybody else. I am who I am, and that's good enough. And one of my first personal development books was, I read it when I was in Punta Cana on vacation with my husband. It was by Andrea Owen, and it was called 52 Ways to Live a Kick-Ass Life. I love that book because I don't know if anybody is real. I am like a sailor in woman form. And this girl like speaks to my heart. And I just loved this book because she wasn't afraid to be herself and say a swear word. And she wasn't afraid to think that somebody's going to worry about her saying the F word or, or judge her for saying that. So that book, I loved it. And it just spoke more to me about life in general and just me as a person. Make It Happen by, I believe her name is Laura Tracy. And that was a really good book. I just finished that like last month. It was a really, really good book. If you're not like afraid of, religion talk or anything like that, it's a really good book. And some of my podcasts that I listen to on a daily basis, obviously, if you have a phone and you have podcasts on your phone and you are not listening to the Team Beachbody podcast, you need to. There is so much information on there. Not only if you're busy and you work full time, because I know for me, that's how I found the Team Beachbody podcast. I couldn't get on Monday National Wake Up Calls. I just couldn't. I couldn't take that time away from my job and get on a call at 11 o'clock in the afternoon. So guess what? The recordings are in that podcast, and they usually post them the night of the call, or they post them the next day. So you're not missing anything. And those calls, if you're not getting on them, you should, because they are amazing. And the leaders that get on there and train give you the most valuable information that, you could give. Joel Osteen, he's one of my favorite ones. We actually, this is so crazy to say, me and my husband, when we don't have time to get out, and if we haven't went to, church, and we're still functioning doing that because we just moved, so we're trying to find a place for ourselves. I literally on Sundays will put Joel on and in our kitchen and play it through the speakers in our kitchen, and we listen to it. Chalene Johnson is amazing. Everything that she has, I think she did used to have two. She has the Chalene Show and Your Tribe, but I don't know if she has the other one. I know she does still have the Chalene Show. And again, Andrea Owen, the lady who wrote that Kick-Ass Life book, she has a podcast, and it's called Your Kick-Ass Life. And she just speaks to women. And for me, guys, like the only thing I listen to business-wise is the Team Beachbody and Chalene every once in a while. But when it comes to personal development, I honestly really focus on myself, because this business can beat you down, and it is tough to stay motivated some days. Personal development is what is going to get you through those days. It really is. So find yourself in some personal development, whether it be audio, video, YouTube. And if you go on YouTube and you're looking for some good trainings, we all know she's the top coach 2 times. Melanie Mitra's YouTube is like a gold mine. There is so much information on there and such good trainings. I couldn't tell you countless information on there that I've shared with my team. So go on there. And another thing that I have just kind of taught my coaches to do too, and this kind of goes off of what I'm supposed to be talking about, but it's a good tip, I promise. I have found finding a coach that is, in the top 200th, or I think I shared a list with my coaches. It was like 50 coaches, or the top 50 coaches. find that list, and I can find it too. I'll go on my team page and find it and share it with Kim, but go through that list and find somebody on that list that you go check their Facebook out and find somebody that you click with. I found I have 2 coaches that are, they're like in the top 10 of the company. I follow them, and clearly I know I don't compare myself to them because I'm clearly nowhere on the same page as them in life, anything. But I relate to their posts, I relate to their lives, and I get ideas from their posts. And I follow them, and it helps me become a better coach because I see the things that they're doing, and it helps me say, oh, well, maybe I should be doing this. And I just put my own little bit of a spin on it. I don't ever recommend anybody copying anybody else's stuff because clearly it's not going to come off correctly because they're not you. But if you find that person that you click with, obviously it's great to like check out their page and see what they're doing and get tips from them and ideas from them. So that's like a huge thing that I know I gave that tip to my coaches, and they took it and ran with it, and it has helped a lot of them. So back to what I was supposed to be talking about. So accountability was the second thing that helps me stay motivated. And I don't know if you guys create them, but vision boards will change your life. Whiteboards will change your life. I went to Target last year after I read You Can, You Will, and I bought myself some whiteboards. And I'm not kidding you guys, everything changed. And I'm sure it wasn't the magical whiteboard that I hung up on my wall. It was the fact that I changed my mindset. And I actually physically, instead of telling Nikki I wrote my goals down and never looking at them again, they were on the wall in front of me and on that board every single day. So vision boards are, don't be afraid to create a vision board and say what you want to happen by the end of this year. If you can see yourself as a 2-star or a 5-star diamond by the end of the year, write it down, look at it every day, and envision that, because when you envision that, that's when it's going to happen. Monthly goals. Nikki used to ask me, like I said, what are your monthly goals? I would write them down, I'd share them with her, and I'd never look at them ever again. Don't do that. It's not good. Write them down, post them somewhere. If you don't have a whiteboard, share them with Kim so she can hold you accountable for them, whatever, because you have to, that's how I hold myself accountable. I share my goals. It doesn't bother me. I make Success Club goals. That's an accountability for me. Every day I'm looking at this right now, and it says Success Club 5 by the 15th and 10 plus by month end. And that happens every single month, no matter what, because I'm in this and I compete with myself every day. And if I look at that and it's the 26th of the month and I'm not at 10 plus, you better believe I'm inviting like a mother. And I don't like doing that, and it very rarely happens, but I will not go a month without reaching Success Club. It will not happen. And write down things, little things like your coach goals, things that you have. If you want to bring on 3 new coaches, write that down, make it a visual for yourself so that you can see all these things. Because when you write it down, I always say seeing is believing. If you write it down and you have to look at it every day, you believe that that's going to happen. And I feel like it's like a magic for me. When I write it down, it's happening because I made it like a real thing. It's not just sitting up in my head. And I literally, my husband comes in here and he laughs at me every day. For accountability for myself, I post quotes and affirmations everywhere. I have sticky notes everywhere of little things that say, you got this, these things that keep me accountable and motivated to keep going. And my coaches, I know you guys, and I'm sorry you're sick and tired of hearing about this, but I know that the people that have done it are seeing success with it. Find a Success Club partner. If you don't have one, find one. They are amazing. And that is a huge thing when it comes to accountability. My Success Club partners have helped me so much in this business. And honestly, I always recommend to get somebody, branch outside of your team. I have more than just one Success Club partner, but honestly, when you branch outside of your team and you find somebody that really isn't, somebody you were friends with before, it's going to be somebody that's not going to be able to be afraid to look at you and be like, you know what? Yeah, you need to step it up, or, ask you, did you reach your Success Club goal? I have a group chat. We had a group chat with our fall classic team, me and two of my success partners. We kept that chat going every single day since fall classic. And we hold each other accountable every single day. We ask each other if we got our invites in. We ask about, where are you at Success Club wise? How many coaches did you add this month? And we share our goals with each other at the beginning of the month. And we just literally, it's like having my best friends every single day at my fingertips because we chat every single day. And I was actually mad the other day because I went into that chat and I was looking for something. I'm like, oh my God, there's so many messages in here. I don't want to look at because it's literally like talking on the phone with them all day long. So that's just the things that I do for accountability and personal development. And those are honestly, you guys, the two things that keep me going every single day. If you aren't doing personal development, you need to. I am be the first person to say, I lied to Nikki for 3 months and told her I wasn't doing it. And I regret that every day because it has helped me so much. And I will say this, it's one of the easiest things to do in this business because you're bettering yourself. But it's one of the easiest things not to do. It's easy to look and say, it's much more important for me to get my 3 invites in rather than me doing that 10 minutes of personal development. No, because it's probably better for you to get your 10 minutes of personal development in before you invite people so that that positivity comes through on your, invites and stuff. Because I know you're not physically speaking to people on Facebook Messenger if that's how you're inviting, but they see that. They can, it comes through when you're typing. And if you're mad at your husband or you're mad at the world or your job sucked that day and you're just rampantly typing invites because you have to get it done, it's going to come through. The tension is going to come through in the way you deliver that message. So personal development is huge for me. And accountability. You just have to set goals for yourself, and your goals are going to be the things that hold you accountable. And find somebody that is on the same level as you, a success partner to help you get to where you want to be. And you guys are, that same person for each other. So, and always remember, you guys too, because this is just crazy to me, because I feel like in this business, it's so hard not to compare it to other people. Just when you feel like giving up and you feel like you're just so not motivated, look back and remember just how far you've come. I mean, honestly, I can't even believe that almost 2 years ago, my coach Allison, I ignored her for 6 months. And now I'm just like, anytime I ever make a post about Beachbody and coaching, I'm just like, the only regret that I ever had is that I did not do this sooner. Because it's changed my life in all aspects of my life. So that's honestly just how I stay motivated and how I get, there every day and every month. But now when it comes to Success Club and challenge packs, to me, like I said, Success Club every single month is an absolute non-negotiable. And I make it known. It is the first thing up there on my goal board every month. It is an absolute non-negotiable for me every month. And in my honest opinion, you guys, if you are in this to win this and you are in this to, looking to be successful in this business and for at some point make this your full-time job, it needs to be non-negotiable for you. Because that is the only way that you are going to, be the leader of your team. And if you're adding new coaches and you want to lead them and show, set that standard for them and show them by example, this is what you need to do and this is how you need to do it. You have to be that leader for your team and for yourself, because clearly people aren't going to fall in love with it. You're not going to get coaches if you don't have people falling in love with the products and Shakeology. And how do we do that? I mean, challenge packs. So you just have to, it all starts with challenge packs and Success Club. And you have to remember that the speed of the leader is the speed of the pack. So if you are doing the things that you want your coaches to be doing, then at some point that's all going to trickle down and it's going to be a compound effect from you to them. But, and I say this all the time to anybody I ever talk to about this business that asks my advice, shame on you if you are asking your coaches to do things that you are not willing to do. If you are not willing to do personal development every single day, If you are not willing to work out and share that every single day, and if you are not inviting, shame on you if you're asking your coaches to do it. And I know for myself, I look at my Facebook page every single night before I log off and I say, if I looked at my page today and my coaches did what I did on my Facebook page and my invites and whatever, if my coaches did what I did today, would I be proud of them? And if I say no, then I get back on the computer and I don't let myself slack, because I do not expect my coaches to do things that I'm not doing. Of course, everybody's going to have a crappy day, and everybody's going to have days where they're just like, there's days where I can't do Facebook and I'm just like, I close my computer and I step away, and that's okay. But you can't expect other people to do things and put you up to star, diamond, rank and all this stuff if you're not willing to do the same things. So how do we reach Success Club? Challenge packs, honestly. And for me, like I said, guys, it's a non-negotiable. And to be honest, when I invite people, I lead with challenge packs. I only talk to people about challenge packs. Can you guys hold on for 1 second? This dog is scratching at the door and he is freaking out because he wants in here. Okay. Come on, hurry up. You're such a brat. Sorry. So yeah, I don't even give people really the option of anything else but a challenge pack unless they ask me otherwise. I just don't. And it's scary for me at first, but I realized that that's what's going to get me to where I want to be. That's what's going to give me the challengers that are, are investing in themselves, investing in wanting Shakeology. And once those challengers, once they fall in love with Shakeology, it's a given discount coach. I mean, so they're the total solution for everyone, honestly. And I mean, they come with fitness, nutrition, and accountability and support. And I'm not saying by any means that I don't let people who, if you don't buy a challenge pack from me, that I don't put you in my group, because that's not the case for me. I don't ever discount anyone, because I know that some people just can't afford it at the time, or there's serious issues where they're allergic to things in Shakeology or whatever. So I get that, but that's why I run 2 groups. I have a huge, accountabilities group that is like our community for our team. We have about 200 people in there. And if somebody just buys a program off of me, just say the 21-day fix by itself, I put them in there because I'm in there every single day anyway. So I run that. It's ran pretty much like more of a laid back challenge group. So they're getting my one-on-one support no matter what. It's just a bigger version. I feel like for me, and then I run a small little intimate group with no more than 10 to 15 people for people who do purchase challenge packs. Because I feel like for me, if you are investing in yourself, that $160, I'm going to invest my time into you. And I'm going to make sure that you get the best out of that challenge pack. And again, like I said, those are the people that are going to become your rock star coaches if they're rocking a challenge group. So, and if nothing else, discount coaches if they love Shakeology. So for me, that's just the way that I handle it. And when you lead with challenge packs and talk about challenge packs, they're saving money. I mean, that's the whole point of challenge packs. And I know when you're talking about challenge packs and you're inviting, it can be very scary, and people are everybody worries about the fear of, oh, they're going to worry about money, or they don't want to pay that much. So who is raise your hand if you have a little bit at all of a fear of inviting and talking to people about challenge packs. It's okay if you do, it's okay. Believe me, I used to literally look at the computer and I'm not going to tell her about the challenge pack. I'm not going to tell her about the challenge pack. So anyways, don't be afraid to do that. Think of your wording whenever you're talking to them too. We always have to think about, I always tell my coaches too, that don't get mad if somebody doesn't answer you right away on Messenger, or, they looked at it and they saw it, but they didn't answer you for 2 weeks. And don't be afraid to message them again, because we kind of get in our own little Beachbody box where we forget about that everybody doesn't think like a Beachbody coach. I did not use Facebook Messenger before I became a coach. So I think of that whenever I'm messaging people oh, well, maybe they did see it, but And it's just like a text message. I've looked at my phone before and I read a text message and I didn't answer the person for like a week because I just got sidetracked. So don't be afraid of that kind of stuff, because you have to think of like a real person. They may not be looking at Facebook Messenger like we do and checking it every 5 minutes to see if somebody messaged us. So we have to think that way. And you have to think when you speak to people too about, do not call a challenge pack, because people don't know what that is. I always call it a bundled package with Shakeology and a workout program. I no longer call my challenge groups when I'm inviting. Even when I'm making, invite post on my pages, I call them accountability and support groups. Because that kind of stuff scares people. Accountability, wait a minute, or, challenge, what is she talking about, challenge? And it just kind of pushes, you don't want to scare people off before they even, talk to you about it. So just rethink your wording sometimes when you're talking to people. Like I said, challenge pack, I always say bundled package. And, I explain it. And I know they tell you not to beach body word vomit. And I don't beach body word vomit, but I know for me, when I invite someone and I always leave them, when I do send that initial invite, I always leave them with a question at the end of it, always. And I just say, you know what, here, I'll read one because I have it pulled up so I can read one for you guys real quickly. Any day now. Okay. So one that I came up with recently, because sometimes you always have to come up with new things too, because I just kind of got sick of sending the same thing, whatever. So I send this, I've been using this recently and it's, been getting people's attention, but I say, hey, in their name. I don't always know who sees my posts and who doesn't. So I always like to send a personal invite as well. So I wanted to reach out to you and see if you'd be interested in joining or learning more about my upcoming fitness accountability group. Or if you know anyone who would be interested, I would love to chat with you more about it. And that's the end. And I just put a question mark at the end of it.
I hate to interrupt you, but can I ask a question about that?
Yeah, hold on. I don't hear you talking. Hold on.
Sorry, I turned my video off. It's me.
Yeah, go ahead.
I started doing that for a while, and I had people, they seemed interested in this accountability group. But then once I started being like, okay, well, you can purchase your challenge pack, they were offended. And so that's actually why I actually was specifying Beachbody Challenge Group, so there was no confusion.
Okay, well,
do you have some input or insight?
Yeah, whenever so if somebody says back to me, yeah, that does seem like something I'd be, interested in learning more about, or, whatever, I always message them back and I'm like, okay, awesome. So how the group works is you would choose a Beachbody program. We can chat more about what program would be best for you, and Shakeology. And I explain how we will use a closed Facebook group to help motivate you and keep you accountable for your goals. Is that something that you would be interested in? And I kind of leave it in their table on, for them to get back to me. And if they don't, then I will message them a week or two later and say, hey, just checking up to see if you were still interested, in joining that group. It starts, on this date or whatever. So I kind of don't force it on people, but I mean, if you kind of leave the ball up in the air for people to make decisions, they just will. I've learned my lesson with talking to people for 2 weeks at a time, and that because people will take up a lot of your time if you let them. And I know I am a very big follower of Bonnie Engel, and her story, if anybody follows her, I mean, this time last year, she was barely a 2-star diamond, and she was 15-star diamond this year, and she's number, I think, 7 in the company. And she spoke at New Leader Conference, and she said last year she was barely making it to New Leader Conference. So I follow her. And the one thing I got out of her, and I kind of learned this from her, is she literally will message people and say, hey, how are you? Hope all's well. Your dog's so cute. He's getting, what kind of dog is it? Oh, by the way, I'm running this accountability group next month. Would you like to join me? And that's it. And she said, she doesn't complicate it. And she doesn't like, and like I'm learning to not really worry that it's going to offend somebody. Because I will say that in my 19 months of doing this, I only had one person message me back and get mad at me and tell me that I was like, she accused me of calling her fat. And that was the only person that has ever really said, no, leave me alone. So that's just the way that I go about it. And after I send that second message explaining the group to them, I kind of leave it in their court for, a couple days, or depending on where I am in Success Club or whatever, my follow-up could be a little bit better. But that's just the way I go about it. And most people really do relate to that. And they just and if they're not interested in Beachbody, they'll say, no, thanks, I'm good. Or if they know that I'm a Beachbody coach, they know that, and they'll just like, is this a Beachbody group? And if I say, yeah, then they're like, okay, no, thanks. Or yeah, I'd love to hear about it. And the thing about it too, guys, is that all comes back to my page. If you go to my Facebook page, I'm a Beachbody coach. Without a shadow of a doubt, I'm a Beachbody coach. So that's just, you have to be out there for people, and you have to, make it known that that's what you're there for. Because I know for myself, I'm messaging people constantly and, meeting new people and friend requesting people that I barely even know. So for them to come to my page and think, who is this person? My Facebook page is like my sneak peek. I let them know that this is what I do. So for me, when I message someone that I don't know and I ask them about joining my group, I'm not afraid, because I'm like, well, clearly they know they don't know me, and they clearly and I usually don't message people that I don't know that are new friends. I usually don't message them for like a couple days to maybe a week after they become my friends, because I give them time to look at my page and see what I do. And then it's not like, okay, so you friend requested me just so you can invite me to this group, if I just message them right away. So, I give them time, and sometimes people will just like delete me because they're like, they can see it and that's not their thing and that's not what they want, and that's okay. So that's just the way that I do it. And those are my best practices for it. I'm not saying that it's what's going to work for everyone. You have to find that thing that works for you and do it consistently every single day, even when you don't want to do it. And lastly, guys, I just want you to really ask yourselves this. If you have an issue with inviting and talking about challenge packs and challenge groups, and if you are afraid of that, you have to ask yourself, if you don't ask them, how will you even know? And I've had some experiences with coaches saying, well, my friend went with this other coach, they should have went with me. And I'm like, well, did you ask them? I mean, how are they going to know that you are a Beachbody coach if they don't know and you don't reach out to ask them? And how would somebody get mad at you for wanting to help them? And it's just, honestly, it comes down to, we make this more difficult than it needs to be. We really do overcomplicate this for ourselves. You're not going to hurt somebody's feelings by asking them if they want to join in on your fitness accountability group and have some fun and meet new friends. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. And if you believe that there's nothing wrong with that and you have nothing but good intentions when you are inviting people, that's going to come through in your invites. If you are just inviting people because you need that last challenge pack sale, you better believe that it's going to come off that way. And it's going to come off. If you're afraid that you're selling people and you're being too salesy, it's going to come off that way. You have to be genuine when you talk. I literally talk to people like in words, like I would talk to in person. And I literally put 50 million Y's and 50 million O's on things, because that's how I would say it to them if they were, everybody gets my full-blown personality no matter what, all the time. So being you unapologetically and not being afraid to do this, and don't overcomplicate it. Believe me, it's so easy with just a little bit of effort and just not being afraid to do things. So, and don't prejudge people. Don't look at your computer and look at somebody's Facebook page and be like, I really would like to invite her, but I don't think she would be interested in this. No, I'm just going to go to the next person. No, don't do that. If you wanted to invite them, if you had that little thought that you should invite them, send them a message. Say hi to them. Ask them how they're doing, how life is going, and say, hey, I'm sure you can see I started my fitness journey. I run these groups. I just thought I'd ask if you'd ever be interested in, learning more about it or joining in one of them. It's done great things for me. Just share what it's done for you. There's nothing wrong with that. So that's all I have. And I will, if you guys have questions, it looks like there's some things down here in the chat, but you guys might have answered some. I hope answered some for you guys. Oh yeah, Jesse said Sean T's podcast. He is amazing. I forgot to mention that. It's been a while since I listened to him, but he is great. So if you have any questions at all or any thoughts on any of that stuff that I talked about, just feel free to unmute yourselves and we can chat.
I can add to what might help when you are doing your invites, to kind of almost have your prospect to not really dwell on the fact that you're asking them to purchase or at least have a Beachbody program. Your question after explaining it could be, what are your fitness goals? Because now you're focused on what their fitness goals are. So maybe their train of thought of you bringing up the Beachbody program will switch to, oh wait, she cares about what my goals are. And then, because I ask that and I do immediately get the response of what their goals are and nothing about, why do I have to have a Beachbody program? In the beginning, I did have somebody that was kind of mad at me about it. But I feel like whenever I started asking the question right after I explained how the group worked of what are your fitness goals, all of a sudden I care. And it wasn't about the product. It was about them.
Yeah, that's a good tip. I do. That is another thing. Like if they do reach out and they say, yeah, definitely something I'd be interested in. I always, because in my little invite or my reply back to them, I say, we can chat about a program that will work best for you. I, do ask them. I have 3 questions that I always ask when somebody says, yes, they want to join a group. I ask them, what kind of workouts have you done in the past or do you enjoy doing? What are your fitness and weight loss goals? And how is your eating? Could it be cleaned up a bit? Because a lot of people will say that they eat healthy. And I always tell everybody, I used to be the person, I tormented my husband with eating wheat everything and low fat and fat free everything. And it got us nowhere because we were eating stuff that is not good for you. And we were eating way too much of it. The 21 Day Fix changed all of that for me. So I just always ask those 3 questions because I feel like you're getting the broad spectrum of everything of what they, asking them what kind of workouts they like is obviously going to get them to tell you what they've done in the past. If somebody tells me they love to run and they love cardio, I am really probably not going to recommend the 21 Day Fix to them because it's not all about cardio. That's whenever T25 or Insanity Max 30 comes into play. And I know a good tip, and this is not my tip. Somebody else told me this and I can't remember who it was, but she uses 2 programs to talk to people all the time about. And this is probably maybe a little bit more of a different way of approaching, but it is a good idea to talk about one program that may be more expensive and then maybe like the thing that's on promo, like the 21 Day Fix, because then when you talk about the thing that's a little less expensive, they're going to be like, oh, wow, that is a really good deal compared to 180 for, whatever program costs 180. And I literally, you guys, I explain everything to them. I break it down for them when they ask me what they're getting with the 21 Day Fix. I'm like, or they say, hey, how much does it? Okay. How much does it cost? And I literally tell them you're getting 7 workouts plus a bonus DVD, all on DVD format. You're getting a meal plan that basically tells you and guides you what to eat. You're getting color-coded measuring containers to help you with your portions. you're getting me as your free coach, access to my accountability group, and 30 days of Shakeology, which is basically 30 meals. And you're getting all of that for $140. It's a great deal for everything you're getting. And that's what I say to them. And they're like, oh, wow, yeah, that is a good deal. Because in retrospect, they may not be physically getting like a lot of stuff, but your group and whatever in the mail, but they are having access to that. And they're getting all of that stuff. So I find that it's not to meet, it's not Beachbody word vomit. It's just explaining to them and giving them that value of what they're going to get versus when you get just the, program by itself.
Jen, I just wanted to add too, one of the other things, because everybody's into like Beachbody on Demand, they get that for 30 days as well. Great.
Yes.
So you want to throw that in as well. Like, and then you talk about all the fitness programs that are on Beachbody on Demand. And that's really, actually, I'll be honest, that's what got me Success Club this month already, because I've just been talking about the Beachbody on Demand because they get that also with the challenge pack for 30 days. So it's just a really good selling point.
Yeah, absolutely. And it really just comes to adding that value of everything. There's so much to offer the challenge packs. And there really is. And there's so much, we have so much as a company to offer. There's just so much to offer people. We have a solution for everyone. It's just a matter of talking to them and getting to know them and finding out what they want. Kim is trying to talk, but we can't hear her. It did that to me last week. I just, what I did? I ended up leaving the meeting and coming back, and it worked. Huh, Hope? Is that what happened last week? She left. Okay, she'll probably be back. Do any of you ladies have any questions? Anything that you feel free? I honestly am happy to help in any way. Oh, good. Did she come back? There she is.
I don't have questions. I just want to say thank you because.
Oh, you're welcome.
You addressed a lot of a lot of things that I don't know if I've been struggling with them. I don't know. This last month has been crappy for me. But just a lot of things that have happened to me that I'm like, well, I don't know if that's normal or not. I'm just gonna keep pushing through. Like I've had people unfriend me and then block me, and I'm like, well, that's like. But then you're like, oh, what happens? And I'm like, oh, okay. Well, I should just brush that off. Like,
I watch my friends list go up and down in numbers every day, and it used to bother me, and it doesn't anymore.
It's obviously I reach out to my coach for those things, but not that I don't think you're being rude, but you're kind of flippant about it. I'm like, oh, well, I can be flippant about that. It's just, it's good. It's a good.
Because you know what? We're not everybody's cup of tea, and that's okay.
But so I liked that was just as a comment. It was just really good for me to hear. So thank you.
Good. You're welcome. No, we can't hear you. Michelle, did you have something?
I did.
Okay.
Thank you for that. I have similar invite style, I think that you do, but I kind of have been getting in my own head about it, and I went away for 2 weeks at Christmas, and it's so not a good excuse, but I need to get back in my zone, and I've been looking for something, like you said, switch it up a little if you get bored. I'm such a visual person, and I like to kind of see things again or hear them again. Would you be able to send Kim a file to share with us, just an example, template of your invite?
Yeah, I can actually send her. I have all my invites in a Google Doc. I can send her the link to my Google Doc. And
that would be awesome, because I'm such a visual person, and I get really excited when I have something to work on.
No, I totally feel you, because a little tip about visual. I failed my permit test when I was 16 until I literally took the book and rewrote the whole entire book, and then I passed it the next time.
I used to do that in school. It's a waste of time, but no, I know what you mean. So that would be awesome.
Yeah, no, I don't mind sharing at all.
Cool. Thank you. That would be a big help.
Yeah, no problem. Poor Kim, she has no volume. Now you're muted. Okay. Hold on. Why does it keep doing that? Go ahead and unmute yourself.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yay! I had to totally get off my computer and just get back on my phone.
Mine did that to me last week.
Oh, thank you so much for letting us hang out with you and answer some of
you're
these
welcome.
questions that my coaches were talking about. I
Yeah.
honestly, to be quite honest with you, I never talk about personal development ever. And that's probably like Beachbody blasphemy, but it just doesn't occur to me to like discuss it. We're like talking about other things, like kind of like basic logistics of getting through the month. So it was nice to hear you talk about some of the things that you're reading, because I do listen to podcasts and I am reading things all the time, but we don't really talk about it. So we always like new ideas.
Yeah. Well, I know for me, like I know a lot of coaches preach about, go for no and the compound effect. And I ask my coaches when I talk to them about personal development, I ask them, what are the issues you're having? And if they're having like confidence issues and they're afraid to do things, and I'm like, the compound effect and go for no, that stuff to like that certain like focuses on the business aspect of this, that's not going to get you anywhere. You need to be, just like we tell people, you have to love yourself first before you're going to be able to, live a healthy lifestyle and believe in yourself. You have to believe in yourself before you can be a successful coach and do things. So reading this book, You Can, You Will, like I said, I thought I believed in myself, and I was like, that person was like, I got this. No, I didn't, until I read that book, and it changed my mind. And I read that Andrea Owen book, Your Kick-Ass Life. That kind of stuff, you need that kind of stuff to keep you on a straight and narrow when it comes to, giving yourself that gut check of like, I am a badass. I am. And honestly, that kind of stuff makes you feel good, because there are days, and Kim, you can ask my coaches, at the end of December, that is all we talked about was personal development. And I was like, I don't want to see anybody talking about any go for no's or any books like that. I want you guys all reading personal development that is going to boost you up and give you that confidence, because this December was the month that would beat you down. If there was ever a month, that's the month that is going to be the beat you down month. So yeah, I mean, and I honestly, if you want me to, in my team page, I have a whole list of personal development books, like a ton of them, that I have added to, my coaches have added to. And I made a file not too long ago for my team. And this is obviously a little bit easier for me to lead my team because I work from home, but I went on YouTube and just found tons of videos that could be helpful for them. And, and I made it a file section in our team page so that they could go there and just look at that stuff. Kind of trying to make it as easy as possible.
If you share that list with me, that would be really nice.
Yeah, I don't mind.
And we like lots of information.
Yeah, no problem.
I have a question for you. Like, I think that some of us, we're fine with inviting, but once you get through like your warm market and then you're adding these friends, and especially if you don't really know them, like, how do you approach them to invite them? Like, because I feel really uncomfortable about that. I don't mind if it's someone I kind of know, but when it's, a virtual stranger, I really struggle with that. So I have a hard time
honestly, those people sometimes are the most easiest for me. It makes sense, because Carl Deichler, I'm sorry if you ever see this, but I do not form people. I don't like it. I don't form people. I mean, I will put my own little, Dana and I had talked about this the other day, but I will put my own little spin on things. And, if I invite somebody that I don't really know, I may go to their page and say, oh, your kids are getting so big, or your kids are so cute, or, something like that, and put a personal spin onto it. But if you come to my page, you know that I'm a coach, you know that I'm into fitness. At some point in time, you're probably going to expect me to send you some kind of invite or talk about it. And I feel like I would offend somebody more if I tried to become friends with them and then randomly set them an invite saying, oh, by the way,
I think it's kind of creepy, especially if you don't really know them that well.
Yes. So for me, I sometimes come right out of the gate with it when I send you my invite list or, template or whatever, I have sent this message to people who are just new friends of mine, and I say, hey, I hope all's, well with you. Thanks for accepting my friend request. I really appreciate it. If you'd ever be interested in joining, learning more about my Facebook fitness accountability groups I run, or know anyone that would be interested, I'd like to talk to you. I'd love to chat with you about it. And that's it. And because to me, and those are the people that when I send that message to people, I let them linger in my friends list for about 3 to 5 days, because
Do you
I
happen
know
to have that particular wording written
Yeah.
down somewhere?
I have a whole thing on Google Doc. I'll send Kim the link to it. But those are the people that I send that to, and I wait a couple days and let them see my page and see what I do. And then I send them that invite. And because honestly, I'm not the type of person, I don't do fake. I don't deal with fake people, and I am not going to be a fake person. I'm not going to friend somebody, try and get to know somebody and then just send them an invite, because I'd be mad if somebody did that to me. Because then I would feel like,
because that forming stuff with people that you don't really know that well.
it's weird.
It's really weird.
It is. It's very weird.
Agree.
I feel like, because at some point in time, there's challengers and there's coaches on my team that I did not form, but now we have the best of relationships. And because I feel like if they know what you're doing and your page is a visual of that you're a coach and you're doing this, I can go to somebody's page, and if an It Works person or a Road and Fields person friend requests me, I can know in a heartbeat that I ain't going to be mad if they send me a message asking me to do their thing.
Right. And we're not mad. And the other thing I don't remember what you were talking about that made me think of this, but honestly, when you invite people and you talk to them, even about the coaching opportunity, it's a compliment to ask somebody, hey, I noticed that you're doing this and I thought you might be interested in this. Because this business is a blessing, and, to bring somebody into this, sometimes I feel that I need to do this. I need to ask these people, because it's been such a blessing to me that's changed my life, that I want to be able to provide that opportunity to other people.
Yeah. And that's just the genuineness that you just share. And that stuff will come through and people will see that before they see anything else. Because I've told people, I've had people say, I can't sell things. I don't sell things. I can't sell to save my life. But I just share what I'm doing, and I share what has worked for me. Yeah. That's just don't be afraid of that, and don't let that kind of stuff hold you back, because there's so much potential and, possibility with this business. If that little bit of fear gets in the way, it can hold you so far back. And do not compare yourself. The last thing I can say is don't compare yourself. Put those blinders on and put your head down. Because comparing is the root of all evil, especially in a business full of women.
Sure.
So if you guys are good, I'm good. I thank you for having me. I do appreciate it. And thank you guys for all getting on. I did record it, Kim, so I will send you it once it's done and I post it on YouTube. And I'll get you the links to that stuff.
Okay. Thank you so much, Jen. Have a good night.
No problem. Thanks, guys.
All right. Bye.